How to make a lot of money as a full stack digital marketer. That's what we're going to talk about today. So it's one thing to be running a few social media channels. It's one thing to have a blog. It's one thing to have a little e-commerce shop. It's another thing to have clients paying you month after month, sometimes $10,000 at once, real amounts of money. It's a completely different world, getting yourself to there as a digital marketer, right? We can all really call ourselves digital marketers if we're dabbling, if we're trying, if we own a few channels or sites. But what does it take to become a full-time freelancer? I would say that, it requires a combination of having something to discuss with business owners so they can see the value in what you do, like something very concrete that you can kind of get them seeing what you're doing, right? But you also need a way to sustain relationships. You also need a vehicle to create monthly recurring payments. It was very early on I realized that, one-time projects was not the right way to build a life as a digital marketer, because one of the challenges is when you begin with a client, there's a 3-month period of onboarding, learning, listening, asking questions, understanding the brand guidelines. Because in the scenarios that we as freelance digital marketers come into, very often the client doesn't even have brand guidelines. Very often the clients are not that size, because if they were of bigger size, it's less likely they would deploy a freelance marketer. They'd probably find an agency or actually have it in-house. So what you really want to be able to make a lot of money as a digital marketer is this vehicle that gets you into people's lives, solidifies you as their lead marketer, but then also has a way for you to stay on and continue to provide value. I don't think people really know what they're getting into necessarily, that you don't necessarily have to prove yourself month after month as a digital marketer. But you do have to, at some points, come up with new ideas. You do, at some points, need to show, more intensive results or more intensive workflows. You have to give the client the experience that they're desiring. Not only do they desire great business results, but they desire great communication with you. They desire more organization and project management from you. There's lots of ways to give the client the feeling that their money is being properly spent, because it's one of those things, digital marketing, where we're in this time that there's a lot of people who don't know what it's really worth. Not only the service provider doesn't barely know what it's worth, but the end user is often saying things like, well, why can't I do this myself? Well, maybe you could, but the truth is they can't. They never can. Every client I've ever worked with tried to do it themselves, did a piss poor job. 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Very, very common. So they think they can do it, but they don't know the aesthetics. They don't know the layers. They don't know the thought. They don't know the strategy. They don't know the rhyme and reason. So there's lots of value to be giving. Now, I'm going to get more into the actual meat of this video. I kind of wanted to set it up so that you can picture, okay, I need a way to get in the door, but then how do I stay there, right? So we got hunting and farming, right? So what I believe you should be doing is selling what's called a campaign. People don't really know what campaign is anymore because they might think of a Facebook ad campaign. It's really in the Facebook platform. But campaign really means everything involved that is required to sell something, right? So that can require many, many, many steps when it comes to a marketing campaign, right? From all the way to first touch awareness, that person who's never heard of you before, all the way down into whether it's email or phone number or user information acquisition into the sales department or an actual purchase. Building a campaign, marketers refer to it as building a funnel. It's the same thing. A funnel is a campaign. People also get confused about funnels because of ClickFunnels, this idea that funnels is like a WordPress site kind of, but that's not really the relationship. A funnel really means a series of events that is going to happen in order which the brand or marketing department feels best helps the customer move themselves through the journey, right? There's 8 steps in a traditional customer journey, and a funnel helps you do that automatically. That's why people have moved away from informational websites into more funnel-oriented transactional websites. So here's where we begin the ability to go to a client and say, do you even know about funnels yet? Do you even know about campaigns? Like, what kind of campaigns have you done? What's your lead gen strategy? What's your cost per lead? If you can say those sentences, you will then not only position yourself as the expert in that area, because those are very specific marketing terminology, you'll pique the interest of the client, and you quickly want to make this conversation about money. You want to say that what digital marketing is in 2020 is the ability to invest some money in a marketer, in some media, and in the development of a funnel, as well as typically an advertising budget, in the desire to achieve a profitable funnel, which would mean that if the total spend was $10,000, that, $11,000 would be made, or $20,000 or 10,001, that you would ultimately come out with a profit. Now, I like to say it as simple as turning $1 into 2, getting 100% return on your investment would be very nice. But the fact is, like, I've seen 40 times, 4,000%. I've also seen negative. I've also seen complete loss. Like, how you build your funnel, what elements you put in, and this is where your value as a digital marketer is going to come in, is going to dictate whether that $1 turns into 2, turns into 10, or loses itself. That is your job, is to help that client take that dollar and show them $2 on their revenue sheet, right? Through sales, through product. Now, they might also have margin. They might also have overhead. There's a lot of factors that are going to go into the value of the funnel. But the simple fact of the matter is that every single business would see an increase in sales if they took a funnel-based campaign approach to their digital marketing instead of an informational approach, which was just traditional in the beginning because no one knew about funnels. The technology wasn't there to create funnels. ClickFunnels was very revolutionary for its time, and now we have many other softwares that can give us this funnel-like experience where we have page redirections, where we have email integration, where we can send downloads with ease. We didn't have all this, in the 90s. So that's what's really sparked in the last 2 decades. And that's where I've found I've been able to come in with people. See, I started with web design and videos separate, right? And now I'm mixing them. Videos. And now let me tell you what's involved in a campaign and how you can kind of talk to your client about this. Okay, sir, I want to sell you a funnel or a campaign. Well, what the hell is that? Okay, well, hang on. First of all, as your digital marketer, I'm going to oversee the whole project from end to end. I'm going to help you step by step complete the project, or at least I'm going to oversee it for you. If we want to outsource it to someone else, that would be up to them. But, letting me do it is going to be a very good idea because I know what I'm doing. It's my system. And that's one thing that I may overlook at times, is basically like, you need to have confidence in your digital marketing systems, that you have the experience and knowledge of what are the right steps in the funnel, what has been tried by the best marketers, what works today and what is kind of off-putting, right? Like, is a webinar still in trend? Are Facebook ads still in trend? Do they still work? What about Google ads? What about SEO? Like, all of these things are traffic and conversion related items, and they all have differing approaches and value for different brands and scenarios. So that's why having a niche is kind of important, because if you work with one group of clients, let's say fashion, let's say beauty, or let's say sporting, or let's say wellness, like, you stick with those, you will learn some of the more trends that are happening within that niche, right? Because, for instance, the digital marketing world, we see the very earliest trends. We see the earliest ideas of what's great in marketing, whereas some older sort of industries, they're going to be slow to adopt. So maybe they still have opportunity. Maybe they don't, right? But having your niche allows you to be a little bit more aware of what typically works. Now, you don't have to do it like that, but that may help you, because when you're talking with your client, you could say, well, I worked with so-and-so company. That's why I can also work with you, because I understand this industry. So you're talking about funnels, right? You're talking about campaigns. You're saying, this is going to be my vehicle. Here's how it breaks down, okay? Funnel includes strategic planning and project management. I just mentioned that. You're going to oversee the whole thing. You're going to create all the pages that are necessary. Maybe the lead landing page, maybe a short squeeze page, maybe a sales page, maybe one-time offer page, maybe a thank you page, maybe a book a call page. Like, there's so many different pages you might need. So that's one big part of creating a campaign, is knowing which pages and creating the right ones. And that's going to involve a tech stack, right? Are you going to use WordPress and WooCommerce? Are you going to use Kajabi and Zapier? Are you going to use Kartra? Like, what is the tech stack of your choice, and which is the price point that's right for the client? So helping establish the tech stack would happen in a strategic planning phase. But ultimately it's about pages, right? Everything is really about pages in a funnel. Pages and emails. Those are really the concrete skeleton backbone of a funnel, right? You're going to need some strategic content development. This may or may not be for you as a marketer. The marketer really does the funnel, but the marketer should have some sense of what the right content would be that would likely lead to a successful path in the funnel. Like, I don't really see a difference in, you know what lead magnet to make, but you don't know what content to make to drive to that lead magnet. Like, that's a bit surprising to me. So, all of this begins in the strategy with sitting down your client and saying, who are we targeting and what do they want? What's the problem we're solving here? When you do that, the strategic content becomes quite clear what you should put out there to start attracting people. And that's going to be YouTube videos, articles, social media, email, Facebook ads, not email. This is going to be about the top of the funnel, gathering new eyeballs, right? Either advertising digitally or putting out organic driven content, right? Sharing content as well. Influencer shout out as well. And also, one of the last major things in the funnel is the lead generation system. So from the strategic content, which you've strategically planned, to getting them that opt-in experience where they often are going to be getting an exchange of value, a lead magnet, a download, a free course in exchange for some customer info. And that's really the biggest part of the campaign, because once you can do that with the free product and you can prove you can do that, you can do a lead generation funnel. You could stop there as a digital marketer. You could say, sir, I'm going to get you the leads, but you got to call them and close them, or you got to email them and follow up. If you're going for something more scalable, where there is sort of less customer service on the back end, then yes, you'd probably going the next step of a sales page in the funnel. You'd try and sell something. So it's one level up from a lead magnet page where it's just a free opt-in. You go one level up and now you're trying to sell something. It's a lot harder. You should go incrementally if you're learning this process of how this all works. But it's very hard to just jump into digital marketing and sell something for $5,000. It's very uncommon you would be able to do that. And that's why I always recommend everyone should be writing free articles, because that is the very first transaction and the easiest one to start doing, because they are reading your content and becoming indoctrinated by what your brand values are and what your value props are. And in return, they are giving you time and they are spending their time. That's a transaction in a way. And if you can't do that, if you can't even give an article of any value, like, how do you know your products are the right value? How do you know that people even exist that want to buy it? So I'm kind of talking about validation in a funnel. That's why it's really great to validate with a lead magnet before you even decide necessarily, like, what is the ultimate final version of my funnel? What is the ultimate final version of my Ascension offers, my products? I just really believe in coming from the bottom up rather than saying, okay, I'm going to sell this thing for $2,500. I know this is the right product and I'm just going to jam Facebook ads into it until it works. That's just not really how I do it typically. And so this all takes 3 to 6 months, and you're probably going to want to put your client on a payment plan. Break it up over 2 or 3 payments. Typically a funnel can be done in 90 days. But if there includes multiple offers, if there includes deep intensive copywriting, if there includes more than say 3 to 5 emails, you could be getting into 6 months, 2 quarters, 180 days. So let me summarize. Why did I even tell you all this? Let's just go back. Because I feel like this is a fundamental understanding that when you see it, you get it, and it can take some time. We need a way to talk to clients, and the way to speak to clients is through business results. And the only way we can discuss business results is if we're able to say, what I'm going to create you will help you make more money. Because if you say, I'm going to create a picture for you, I'm going to post for you, I'm going to design a logo for you, none of those really guarantee you're going to help them make more money, so they won't listen. The business owner won't listen because they don't know what value you bring. If you say, hey, I've worked with these yoga companies and I helped them go from 0 to 100 members in under 2 years, I could do the same for you. And I can use digital marketing to help you achieve that. Like, that's true. That's possible. I've actually done that. That's possible, right? So once you can speak like that, now you have the ear, okay? So then how do you create the funnel or the campaign? Same idea, same thing. Planning, project planning, strategic planning, page and tech stack development, strategic content at the front end, driving new traffic and eyeballs in, and a system of lead generation where you combine email, a free product, and maybe some email automation to move that client down that path from they don't know you. Okay, now they kind of know you. Okay, now they actually like you. They liked your free product. They like the emails you're sending. They can tell that you know what they need, and that's very important, right? So that's a big project, and that's how you get your foot in the door typically, because a funnel is something people understand. There's kind of an endpoint, and I often include one free Facebook campaign for the funnel to prove to them that it works. That's what I've often done. It's very basic, because these aren't hard to create once you know how to do them. Once you can know who it's for, and you have enough ability to talk to your client and remind them, what is the real problem you're solving? Because so many times they don't know what problem they're actually solving. So you really got to help them figure that out. And now here's how you extend the relationship, right? Because once you're done that, maybe you made $5,000, maybe you made $10,000, maybe you made $2,000, depends on how many pages. Like I've done an $800 funnel because it was one page, right? It's, like I said, it should be value-based pricing, and many times depends who it's for, depends on how intensive it is, and you're free to set your own price because hardly anyone knows how to make funnels. Okay, how do you extend the relationship? How do you keep farming them, and how do you keep bringing value for the client? Well, first of all, there's the whole concept that once the funnel's done, that's only going to generate, and this is true, that's only going to generate the baseline data. Like, we had to make assumptions to get the first version out. Doesn't mean we believe it's the best version, and I never would say it is. You tell your client that when you work with me, we are forever iterating and optimizing. We are always looking for ways to improve the user experience and making that journey frictionless so they go right through because they like it. They're getting value, right? Like I've gone from Instagram ad to cart in under 60 seconds before because they knew what I liked. I saw the words I needed to see. I saw the value was there. So optimizing the funnel could be a retainer. You could do 1,000 a month. You could do 500 a month. It really depends on what you're really going to do. Like, are you just going to overview, maintain, or are you going to be in there trying different copy week after week? And that's one thing. You can't necessarily do that with a brand new funnel because you don't have the traffic yet. That's why in the 12-point funnel audit, which is in the Blueprint Consultants course, it tells you that the last stage is get your client's funnel having at least 1,000 people coming to the funnel every month, because then the data becomes slightly more significant. And that's arbitrary. I just say, well, 1,000. I mean, what do you want me to put, right? Like 100's not enough, and 10,000 is very hard for a lot of companies. They don't get that kind of traffic. So working towards 1,000 is a good benchmark. And you tell your client, listen, like this funnel isn't actually proven, but at least we had to build it, right? Because funnels are more like race cars. They're not like daily drivers. Like not everyone has a race car, and some race cars blow up. Like you have to understand that this type of aggressive digital marketing, this type of brand building is so new, and it's about speed and it's about taking risk. Like we can't say that all of this is guaranteed. I've got some comments coming in recently like, what if it doesn't go well? What if your client doesn't get results? Like, guys, we don't promise results. We share the results we've had, but that was with a different product, with a different client who maybe worked differently than you. So even though I can control your marketing and I promise to give my best efforts, the fact is this is both an art and a science, which means not all art is good. right? We don't always know. Sometimes we miss the mark. And that's why you have to take the time to have the strategy meetings with the client before you even start the funnel. So I always do 3 phases: strategy, funnel development and optimization, then traffic generation. That's all in the consultant's blueprint, the 3 phases. If the funnel seems to be working, if people are ascending the way you want them, you can then go more into strategic content and producing more content every single month. Once people become influencers, they make way more content because they have more money, they have the system down. More content means more top of the funnel action, means more sales at the end, okay? You could sell strategic content. You could do a $1,000 package. You could do a $2,000 package. You could do a $5,000 omnipresent package for social media channels, daily content. I believe someone could do that for $5,000 a month. Okay, next would be brand development. Maybe they've got a funnel, but they need new photos. They need a better look. They need better graphics. They need a logo. Like, there's a lot of things. Maybe some of you are graphic designers. You could optimize the branding. Why? You tell your clients, branding reduces the cost of customer acquisition. When you're in the lead generation marketing game, the whole thing we're doing is acquiring leads and moving them through the funnel. So lead generation is so valuable, and everyone knows there's a cost to lead generation. And what does that mean? If I can lower the cost of customer acquisition, aka lead generation, there will be higher profits. So investing in branding means higher profits later on because the customer trusts you more. Why? Why would customer trust you more? Because branding is a natural trust creation effect, right? People like, oh, it looks nice. It looks professional. It looks trustworthy. Ooh, it's the same thing I saw on social media. There's a consistency I can trust. So selling branding. And then you don't sell this, but you remind the client, hey, don't forget, I do everything for you. And that's great because now you don't have to go hire other people. You can keep it coming through me. Why don't we do a retainer for some executive virtual assistants? Why don't I do some digital marketing tasks for you month after month? Because I already set the system up. So you're going to get more value by having me run it for you, right? Design, build, and run, right? You have to then run the machine, right? It has to keep being oiled. It has to be cleaned. It has to be maintained. So you want to be that person, right? So right now I have five clients on my main retainer, and that's enough for me. Oh, I don't want more, right? Typically you'll have 3 to 5 on retainer maybe, and maybe 1 or 2 projects going that will have an end date, and then you have a new project. So you want to be like 80% in retainers, 20% in projects ideally, right? Because retainers are predictable. Once people hire you, they're not going to want to replace you because you built the system and you know the system. And as long as it's improving month after month, they're probably pretty interested. You cannot tell them this works overnight. It takes up to a year to see the benefits of a funnel truly coming into its own. I would probably say 6 to 12 months, but I would say, hey, it's not unusual that you don't see any SEO results until 6 months if you're building content. You don't see enough data until 6 months to really know if it's working. And 12 months is just not a long time for business owners. It's very different when you think as a business. You cannot do everything. You have to have specific projects and goals and objectives. People don't mind when things take 1 year if they're a business or business oriented. And then you need to always tell your clients how busy you are, because you are busy by now. Because if you're a digital marketer, you have a lot to do, because you shouldn't just be working for your clients. You should be working for yourself. You should be building your own brand. You should be starting your own digital assets. You can make your own funnels. Funnels are the closest thing to passive income, but they're not completely passive. But that's where you want to be, okay? So 80-20 retainer projects, but then also maybe 80-20 client work, personal work. You know, making sure that you're committing to developing a garden of digital assets. I love to think of it like a garden. Like, okay, I've got my crops over here, which I'm farming. Those are my clients. But here's my rose bed, you know, and here's my cannabis crop, and here's my herbs. Like, it's fun to think of it like that. And then you're like, okay, my goal is to keep this garden all growing because I don't know when that one's going to grow. And sometimes that takes a little longer. And sometimes I make mistakes and I have to wait for a second crop. It's very, very good metaphor, right? And so if you're just starting out today, what you need to do is have a website where you say that you sell marketing campaigns, digital marketing, funnels. You can do all the powerful digital marketing tasks they need. Just go onto other people's marketing websites. You'll see what they say, right? And you're going to go from a bit lower pay to more hours. You're going to have to do more, but don't sweat that. Why? The more hours you put in this year, the more experience you're going to have. And when I talk about when you talk to other clients, what do you think you're talking about? All your experiences, right? So go put in 60-hour weeks for the next 6 months and you'll be laughing in a year. Like, guys, I worked a lot of 16-hour days this year, but I promise you in 2020, I'm going to be very satisfied with that effort because digital marketing is one of those things that's you can really make your money, your time worth because a website can last so long. Guys, my #1 video for my YouTube channel, it's posted over a year ago now. It's still pumping today. Like digital marketing has this very cool snowball effect because of how tied in it is with branding, content creation, personal brand, agency lifestyle, remote work. Like all these things are very connected and very cool. And you're going to be laughing if you put the work in now, you sacrifice, you go all in on digital marketing. Like there's nothing better to go all in on. Don't go all in on a niche. Go all in on a skill set that is no income ceiling, remote, you're in charge, you're the expert. You can do this, but it will not happen overnight. And you're going to go from low pay and lots of work, and I promise you, slowly but surely, you're going to get bigger clients who pay more per project, more per hour, whatever method you do. And you're going to have to do less and less work because they're going to appreciate your expertise, which is going to be growing. That's how it works. I used to work freaking hard. I do like 10 hours for a client who pays like $600. Now it's like 1 hour and maybe a meeting. It's like it does transition with the level of experience because not only do you actually have the things to say that wow people more often, that diagnose them more correctly, you just feel more confident because you've seen it enough. I think the one big problem for digital marketers is they don't see enough yet they know some stuff, but they haven't seen it in action. They don't have the back end data. They didn't see the sales all the way through, right? There's a lot of sort of half-baked marketing. And that's okay. That's a great place to start, right? But social media is not the full gamut of marketing. And I think a lot of people are in social media and they have to see that I do have to do a bit of page development. I do have to understand some project management and strategy. I do have to understand some things like PDFs and downloads and email. That's how you are able to do the full campaign. That's why you don't have the career you want yet, because you still think like about selling things like SEO. Like you don't want to sell SEO anymore. You want SEO to be a byproduct of the full campaigns you're capable of building. And that's why I created the idea of the full stack marketer, because only when you're full stack do you really feel capable of doing the campaign work all the way. You're not like sitting there like, oh my God, how do I do an email? Like, oh my God, how do I make this page? How do I connect them? You know all of that. That is the skill set, to know all of that and all the pieces that connect. That's why funnel visualization on Miro is important, so you can see how the pieces connect and you can show your client. That's why tracking everything and keeping all of your content in Notion is important, because you have all the information for the funnel where you need it properly aligned. Man, this is a course in itself, isn't it? And let's talk about my course, Full Stack Marketing Funnels. If you made it, 30 minutes into this video, you obviously want to learn how to make this. And that's why I designed my workshop to be exactly about this. How do I walk away knowing how to make the campaign from end to end and know the full stack sequence of tools, processes, and the theory behind why you do everything. So I'm not going to sell my course on this video, guys. I wanted to give you all this info for free, but please do check out Full Stack Marketing Funnels on my site, richanishacademy.com. I'll link it below. If you take my course, you will be able to do this, and that's why I created it. And this is the #1 skill that unlocked everything for me in my life. So please learn marketing funnels, and which we call campaigns, because then businesses will see you as someone who can make money for them and give them that digital marketing presence they want. You're not just like a graphic designer. Like, they don't need graphic designers. That's a means to the end. They want to make more money. How are you going to be a part of that? Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Give it a like. I know it's a long one, but I think these are the videos where you actually make a transformation in your mindset, where you walk away and be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to offer this. I know what he's talking about. I do know more than what I thought. And I think that Rich has put it in a framework for me. I can go ahead and start using this and operating from there. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.